Come once again. To start, we'll take 6 inches mark on one side. Then we'll use our chalk and our ruler to make a line to the edge of the other side. Now from the edge of the other side, we'll take 14 inches mark. We'll chalk. We'll go back to the 6 inches point and take another 14 inches mark and also chalk. Now those two lines we've gotten, we'll join with our ruler and our chalk to get a straight line. So we've gotten two slanted lines, and from that line we'll take subsequent 14 inches. Now we are taking 14 inches because we are sure the cap can accommodate at least 14 inches. If yours cannot, make it 13 or even make it 12. So the height of the whole cap material will be a dependent of how high you choose to make yours. So after taking the second line, we'll go to the third line. Now for each slant we create, we get approximately 8 or 9 inches. So you have to make sure that for the third line you are creating, you will not be cutting everything off because you don't need to waste the cap material. Once you get the desired head size, you don't need to waste the remaining one, and I'll be explaining what I mean by that. So for the first part, we'll just cut the first slant, and after cutting, we'll cut the upper part. So on doing that, we've succeeded in creating our first slant. So when we cut this other one, we've succeeded in creating our second slant. Now for the third one, we will not totally cut everything because we don't actually need everything, and not cutting everything will give us enough material to make the top of the cap. So like I said earlier, we'll check the measurement. The measurement is approximately 8.5 inches. So when you add 8.5 inches to the other one, you'll be getting something in the space of 17 to 18 inches. So, and we need 22.5 inches for this cap we're making. So as you can see, we don't really need to cut out the whole slant. So we'll just leave it like that. Before sewing, the first thing to do will be to arrange everything in the same pattern. And that slant diagonal pattern will actually become the lower line and the upper line. So you arrange them in that form, place them side by side on the edge of each other. Then the one which we haven't totally cut off will also place on the edge. Then we'll sew that on the edge and also sew the other on the edge. So after joining everything on the edge, that is what we got. The next thing we'll be doing now will be to work on the measurement of the cap. So after joining everything, we'll create our line, and that line will be taking it from the edge of the down part, and that is 22.5 inches. We would also take 22.5 inches from the top part, and we'll create two lines. Then just to make everything perfect, we'll take another line at the middle part, which is also 22.5 inches. So after getting all three lines, we'll be joining all lines with a straight line, and that line will actually be our measurement line. So after creating that line, you cut half or 1 inch after the line, depending on how much excesses you want to give for your sewing allowance. So for this, as you can see, I'm cutting just a little above ½ inch, probably a 3/4 inch after the line. Then the remainder will be used for the top of the cap. So I'll be sewing on that line. When I join, I'll place the other part exactly on that line. That's the only guarantee for me to get my 22.5 inches. Then I'll be sewing on the edge after placing it on the line. But just before we start sewing, we added interface to the top line and also on the down line. And that is because those parts of the cap material are not finished. What I mean by finished is they are susceptible to losing. The other part of the cap material don't lose. So after that, we'll just sew on the edge like that. So as you can see, we've joined on that line. We've actually joined on the 22.5 inches mark. So after doing that, we'll go straight to adding our hard gum stay, and this is actually what will give the cap strength at the lower part of the cap. It is 3 inches high and it could be as long as possible, so long as it is longer than 22.5 inches. So you'll be placing it inwards and using a pressing iron to hold it down because it has gumming properties. But you can also use your sewing machine to just hold it down directly. But whatever choice you choose to use, just make sure you are holding it half inch before the down line of the cap. I made use of little stitches on strategic positions to just hold the hard gum stay down. Just tiny stitches on strategic positions like that. So after doing that, it will be to bend the upper part of the excess of the cap inwards. So I'll bend it inwards like that. I'll bend it to the edge of hard gum stay I inserted inside the cap. So after bending it, I'll make a half inch stitch on the edge of that bended part like that all through. After preparing the body of the cap, we also prepare a replica, and that replica will be used as the lining. So we insert the body of the cap inside the lining. Mind you, the lining is half inch wider than the body of the cap because you want it to be free. If the lining is tight, it will affect the whole cap itself. So we insert the cap into the lining, making sure both align in terms of position. When we are sure that both are of the same line on the down line, we will make a 1/4 inch stitch all through to join both the lining and the cap. So after joining the lining with the body of the cap, the next thing will be to turn it outwards back. So we'll turn it outwards, then we'll bring the lining inwards. After bringing it inwards, we will continue to use our hands to arrange it. We'll arrange it up to the extent where the lining will be a 1/4 inch higher than the line of the body of the cap. So you have to bend the lining to be a 1/4 inch higher, as in terms of position of the down line. The lining needs to be higher inwards than the body of the cap. Then after doing that, we use a pressing iron to press. After achieving that, then you will make a half-inch stitch. So for the top of the cap, we'll prepare it just like we prepare the body of the cap. So to join both the top and the body, we'll turn the body of the cap inside out. We'll bring out the wrong face, then we'll join both from that angle. So we'll bring out the wrong face like that. Then we'll make sure we've trimmed the top of the cap to be the same circumference with the body of the cap. Then we'll join from the wrong face like that, and we'll join from one spot back to that spot. For the knitting, the thread always come in bunch like this, and you will just drag out one strand of the thread from the bunch like that. So I've already done that initially, and I've already created a strand I want to use, and I'll be passing it into the needle. The needle we use for knitting is actually a very big needle compared to your normal needle you use for your normal stitching. So this is how we'll just start our knitting. The knitting we'll be doing are two different types. This one is called the teeth, while the other one is called the times. So for the teeth, just flow with the way I'm going. You pass it inwards and you roll it twice. There are many ways to do this teeth knitting. So this is the one I'll be doing for this video, and on subsequent videos I'll be doing different types. So the most important thing is just to understand the concept of it. Once you understand the concept, whatever type of knitting is being done, you'll be able to make yours. To create a space of at least half inch between each of the teeth. They call it teeth. So you create a half-inch space between each of the teeth, and you create a teeth for each half-inch space. That is just basically what we'll be doing. So after we've done one teeth or one tooth, I don't know if we should be considering the grammatical error for this, but after we've finished one tooth, we'll go to the next half-inch space and start the creation of another tooth. So in the end, all we just want to do is create subsequent tooths. So you just create the design like that all over on half-inch differential space between each tooth. For the times knitting, just watch the way I flow with it. So what I do is I'll just take it inwards like that. Then I'll take it from the back and bring it outwards I've succeeded in creating a dash to the left. Then I'll take it back from the back and bring it inwards to the initial point I was coming from. Then by doing that and dragging it outwards, I've succeeded in creating a times. So I'll take it forward again from the back, bring it outwards, I create a dash, then I go back and bring it out from that part I started from, and I'll create a times. So after tying it and after finishing it off, we'll cut the thread, and that will be the end of the knitting. So if you are skillful enough, you can use your lighter to burn it and make sure the thread has no possibility of losing. But all notwithstanding, we've succeeded in finishing the whole cap. That's the cutting, the sewing, and also the knitting. So as you can see the finished product, it has a downline of knitting we call teeth and an upper line knitting we call times. So both knitting are two different types of knitting on the same cap. So if you like, you can make other designs on it like that. But that's that for now.
Yeah.